Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
What's going on? What's going on? What is growing on? Welcome to B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. Here at B1AG, the Daily Bread Podcast, we focus on culture, agriculture, food, and environment. Pull on up to the cafe. Have a seat. Let's have a meal. Now, today's story, it deals with former CNN anchor Don Lemon and rap superstar Rick Ross. The biggest boss thus far. Now, Don Lemon was fired from CNN after 17 years of being in service as a news anchor. Now, for a lot of people, Don Lemon has always been a controversial subject matter. But nevertheless, he was fired after 17 years. And Rick Ross actually offered him a job at one of his Wingstops. Now, for some people, this may be a hilarious jab at Don Lemon, but we at B1AG, we're going to focus on the fact that although it may have been tongue-in-cheek, it may have been a jab at Don Lemon, but there are very real opportunities for employment in the agricultural sector and a lot more money involved that's available for all of us than you may have thought. So we're going to deep dive on the subject today. Farmer Brown, what say you?
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well, staying alert. Yeah, a lot of people getting that Negro wake-up call, and people are losing their jobs. I was just looking today, another bank crashed. And so this is becoming commonplace. The economic systems, I'll say, in transition from one form to another. And so we're here, we exist. And so what's the best value to have? And it's the knowledge to grow, the means and resources to grow, and the network to grow with. And so, yeah, on one end, you can look at it kind of like an insult, like how dare you, offer me a job at your chicken spot. But then when you think about the play, it's a wonderful play. And like you said, this is a great deep dive to really look at the realistic, practical dynamics of Rick Ross's invitation to Don Lemon.
First thing I would like to show y'all is Rick Ross's actual Instagram post to Don Lemon. Y'all check this out.
It's the biggest boss in the game, Ricky Rose. Just found out Don Lemon was terminated from CNN. Damn, Don. But guess what? The brothers got your back. We hiring in at Wingstop. And for some reason, I believe you know what you're doing with them lemon pepper wings. So, man, just send over your resume. Well, in 17 years. But I'm going to make sure I get you in front of the right grill, brother. Stay solid, brother. Just came up with a wonderful idea. Well, really, Don, you helped me come up with this, but I need to hit the team over at Rapstar Energy Drink and let them know we should introduce the Don Lemon flavor. What y'all think? Hey, Don, I'm a busted. Hey, we got you, brother. Don Lemon.
Y'all hear Rick Ross offering this man a job at Wingstop. But let me just break this down for you real quick. This is just some real things. First of all, Wingstop is actually a very profitable franchise. A single franchise can make sales as much as 1.59 million on average. Now, with a moderate 15% profit margin, a Wingstop franchise owner can easily make an average annual profit of $200,000 or more. Now, Rick Ross owns almost 30 Wingstops. So this brings Rick Ross in the upwards of $6 million plus annually just from those Wingstops. So although it may seem like a jab, but there's money in those chicken wings. There's money in those chicken thighs. There's money in agriculture.
You think about this concept of lemon pepper wings. It's already popular. So when you get somebody with star power, say like a Don Lemon or Rick Ross promoting a product, this is basic marketing. It has nothing to do with celebrity more so than, okay, this person is visible to X amount of millions or more people. Because guess what? Those Wingstops are sourced by somebody that has to grow chicken, somebody that has to raise potatoes for French fries. Obviously, there's drinks. And so this lens opportunity, he was talking about tea. I don't know if that was with the energy drink company, but there's a lot of different products that can literally be sold just off of Don Lemon's popularity with his base. And within his base, you're, like I said, we're talking about economics. We're talking about marketing. With his base, you're literally touching millions of people. And so you think about the farmers wherever Rick Ross is at, or maybe this is a national effort. And so you're connecting with the farmers to source the lemons. There's other ingredients that'll go in some of these products. And so once again, when we're thinking about a lot of these Negro wake-up calls happening, you think about the star power, because your image is a form of currency as well, right? We've talked about that. And so you think about the star power, if it has a codified focus on, hey, let's focus on food production. We had gone through some slides of some different hip-hop artists and athletes who have been investing in agricultural endeavors or food systems. You think about Drake with the alternative meats. You think about Jay-Z with Nugs, the simulated chicken nuggets. You think about Shaq with the Beyond Meat. Snoop promotes the plant-based hot dogs. So it's a big market. And, as easy it is to laugh, I think about Dick Gregory and the comedians. Like through comedy, you can say a lot of real, you can drop a lot of gems that otherwise will go over the 2/3 head. But I think the third can recognize like this is a legitimate play, considering the times, considering all of these changes going on. Food systems is where it's at. And here at B1AG, we don't just talk about food system in the sense of, oh, we're struggling, we got to eat. No, these are huge opportunities that don't exist. Never before has there been an artist such as a Rick Ross that was able to make as much money as he's made off of his craft. You had your Sammy Davis Jr.'s. You hear about the debilitating stories of them when it came to their revenue. You think about Sam Cooke. He had gone to the people about getting ownership of his publishing. He didn't live long enough to reap the benefits of his skill. But you have a whole layer of hip-hop artists such as Rick Ross. You got your Jay-Z's. You got all of these other older artists who I think they're going to get Negro wake-up calls too. And so it's like, why you still got this popularity, this visual of the people? Because it was used to sell jabs, right? A lot of these entertainers use their star power to sell carrot sticks. So in this situation, we're really trying to sell carrot sticks.
Think about it. Rick Ross makes over, upwards of $6 million off of Wingstop. And when we're talking about the opportunities in agriculture, we really need to teach our young people, our high schoolers, and even inform ourselves about these opportunities. Now, I have my own testimony. I went back to school to get my graduate degree, my master's in agricultural economics. I was a 40-year-old non-traditional student, and I earned a fellowship. They were paying me to go to school to get my agricultural economics degree because there are so many openings and opportunities in the field of agriculture, and so few of us that are even aware of these opportunities. And here at B1AG, we want to let you know that these opportunities are here. They are here, and they're waiting for us, and they've been waiting for us. There are over 40,000 unfilled jobs in agriculture. And that's either because of non-interest or we just don't know about it. But that's something that we are trying to fight here at B1AG. Now, if you look at the infographic on the screen, it breaks down exactly how much money is being made in each sector and how many jobs per industry there are in the country. Would you like to go over this, Farmer Brown?
So let's just break this down. So I was just doing a presentation last Friday to it was second grade, actually it was first grade through fifth graders. So with the kids, I'm like, hey, how much money do you think sports generates in a year in America? $5, 500, 1,000 zillion, infinity. They come up with these crazy numbers. But I say, now, hey, what about sports makes $170 billion in a year? These are your athletes. These are all of the major contracts. And they're like, oh, wow, that's a lot. And then I'm like, well, what does everybody on the planet have to do? Everybody has to eat. And, they'll answer a couple questions. Everybody breathes. Everybody's human. I get some cute answers. But when I say, now, guess what? The way to do that is agriculture. And that generates $1.1 trillion in North America. And how many times does 1 billion go into a trillion? And I'll have somebody come up to the board and read it. 1,000. So let's put this in perspective, family. When we talk about revenue, when we talk about what are some large chunks, I know you run with the theory of WAPs and chunks. This is a huge chunk. When we think about almost 20 million jobs just within this sector, and every one of these jobs, believe it or not, many of them are going to be replaced by AI, but that doesn't take away the need of that position, that knowledge. This is where our innovation comes from, in taking this basic game of food, fuel, and fiber, and how to get it from farm to table, and how to turn this into revenue streams. We're going into a Fed now economy where pretty much most of our transactions are going to be traced. And I mean, I ain't up to nothing, so I ain't worried about it. But saying that to say the world is changing as far as the way we do business. One of the most valuable structures within civilization has been food systems. Economic systems change. You have different forms of government. You have different types of kingdoms, empires. But one thing that has been consistent all across humanity has been the ability to feed oneself and provide natural resources and distribute them and let people know they exist and get them to the people that need them and store them long enough to get them to people farther away. And so when you look to the right, this is just the top 10 careers in agriculture. And I guarantee there's hundreds. I know for sure there's hundreds. These are just some of the top 10. And so, some of these are within corporate. But like I said, when you put this mind, like this Rick Ross, Don Lemon concept in the mix of innovating, using what you have to work with, you think about a zoologist. This is somebody that's into animals. I ask the kids, hey, who's good at convincing their parents to get them whatever they want? Their hands will go up. Well, guess what? These farmers need people to sell their products. This is what Rick Ross is doing. So we know he's not the number one farmer in the world, but because of his efforts, if he earns 30 Wingstops, and I don't know if he's sourcing from black farmers, but there's real deal people who are raising chickens that are sourcing this man's operation. Now, if we had this codified effort, like I said, with all of the star power involved, not just popularity, but also some dollars. And if we had this going into sourcing Rick Ross's franchise, imagine the other artists, your NLE Chopper that got the vegan food truck. Imagine your other artists, Jadakiss and his dad and the coffee. So imagine you got these mobile stores, the same way DoorDash. You know, DoorDash didn't exist X amount of years ago. Now it does, and it's a thing. And so saying that to say, buyers and purchasers, there's somebody that goes state to state making these connections with these different producers. You think about environmental engineer, not just in the agricultural sector, but within our communities. There's things sprinkling down from the sky. What do they call it? Barium or aluminum? Who knows? They call them chemtrails, whatever. I notice a lot of people coughing. I notice a lot of people ill, a lot of new sicknesses that didn't exist before. And I'm not saying this to be disparaging, more so than times are changing, family. And so we need environmental engineers, wastewater engineers. And so I know just up the road from us in Louisville a couple of weeks ago, there was a barge that overturned and it had toxic chemicals in it. And so I guarantee the people that was going out to the site, analyzing the situation, they didn't have, it wasn't a lot of complexion out there. And so the story we get is always going to be somebody else's narrative of what happened. So to say this is why we need wastewater engineers, environmental engineers. You think about research. Farmer Brown is a product of research. I grew up thinking, okay, research is just the white folks and the white coats and the crazy hair. No, research is, okay, I've identified a problem and I'm taking a strategic method to figure out how to fix it. And so research is big within agriculture because I guarantee we're nowhere near doing it the best way it can be done. The fact that you have the so-called Black Farmer Discrimination Act lets you know this country ain't serious about putting the best players on the field. And so since we know some of our best players are sitting on the sideline, this is the time to form an ag league, agletics, as we like to say. But food scientists, this goes into your culinary artists, water resource specialists. So we know water is becoming more and more scarce. And these come with salaries. Farm manager. If you notice on this list, the only thing that really talks about being on a farm is farm manager. And that's just managing the day-to-day operations. So we know right now in North America, there's between about 33 to 40,000 Black-owned farms. And so to make these farms be as competitive as they can be, they need people to work. You know, the average farmer is 65 years old. And so a 65-year-old isn't going to be able to compete with the machines that say your larger farms have. So this is why we have to cultivate a grassroots workforce. Not just there when the pictures are going, but also when the plants are growing. So think about natural sciences manager, agricultural engineers, clinical research coordinators. So like I said, these are just the top 10. But there's hustles, there's jobs, there's niches, there's undiscovered niches within this field of how we get food, fuel, and fiber from seed to consumer.
I don't know about you, Farmer Brown, but me, these are jobs that if you ask the average child, average person, what do you want to be when you grow up? They're only gonna name maybe like 6 or 7. An athlete, president, fireman, teacher. But there are a lot of jobs available in the field of agriculture that pay extremely well. A lot of our kids, we push them in athletics, thinking they're going to get a great payday, pushing them for that pie in the sky payday. To be an athlete, that's a very small window. And I can attest as a former athlete, it's very hard on your body. These are jobs that you can have for 20, 30, 40 years, making $70, $80, $100,000 a year. You'll make more money in the long run.
And you'll never run out of people that need the agriculture, food, fuel, and fiber. As long as there's human beings, you'll always have a consumer base.
because we all have to eat. We say this almost every show. We all have to eat. We all have to eat. It's a need. And we need more of our people learning this survival skill of growing, cultivating, distributing, and feeding people. You know, we've been tricked into thinking we're just always going to be able to go to the store. You know, a couple of years ago, that should let us know that's not always, we can't take it for granted that these stores won't close. We can't take it for granted that these stores will always have things on the shelf. Because regardless if there's supply chain issues or not, we all have to eat. So everybody, if you're in, hey, make sure that you hit the like and share button. We need to really get our subscription up. We need to get our subscribers up. We'd like to thank everybody who checks in with us on the regular. You know, but hit the like, share, and subscribe. B1AG Daily Bread Podcast on YouTube. Let's get the word out. Look, we need to grow our own food. There's money over there. There's money in them there fields. There's money in them there fields. The food itself is money.
And divine protection.
Absolutely.
On a material level, there's money, there's wealth to be attained. But on a divine level, that was the original assignment.
Take care of the land.
Steward of this garden.
Absolutely.
And to that degree, you think about, as above, so below. You think about the disorder within our communities and our relationships. We're so far off of our original task. How can we expect this balance and peace that we talk about? In the garden, the original garden, everybody wasn't necessarily picking the plants. Some people had to build the structures. Some people had to run it over the hills, over to the other side, right? And so there's different roles. And it's like if we can identify art, and it doesn't take us away from what we like doing. So most of the farmers I've worked with have full-time jobs. But it's the thing of if they lost those jobs, like Don Lemon, they have something to fall back on. And not just fall back on. This is a business that can continuously grow as long as you water it, as long as you nurture it.
So Rick Ross offers former CNN anchor, Don Lemon a job at Wingstop after getting fired. Would you eat some Don Lemon pepper wings? Would you? How about some Don lemonade? Would you drink some Don lemonade? Again, this may be seen as a jab, Rick Ross joking with Don Lemon, but it points to something very real. And that is the real opportunities in agriculture that we need to take a more serious look at. And we need to steer our kids and our nephews and our nieces, the youngsters in the neighborhood, expose them to these opportunities. There's a lot of money. A lot of our kids want to go to college and they don't know how they're going to pay for it. Everything that any other industry needs, agriculture needs. If they want to go into finance, agriculture needs that too. If they want to go into, even if they want to go into making clothes and fashion design, all that goes through textiles, which are agricultural products. They have money available for that.
I had a brother reach out to me the other day, wanting to get into hemp. And I brought up to him about the concept of hemp fiber. Right now, the investment, regardless of ethnicity, is processing. Because right now, most of the hemp that we have or cannabis in North America is processing for consumption. But when you think about the value of hemp fiber, and you're talking about these fashion designers, so what happens when you get some fashionable, stylish sisters that's just strictly hemp designs? Hemp fiber hair pieces, hemp fiber things that we don't even know exist, trends, fads, products that can be made, products to where we know, okay, X amount of farmers is going to have to grow X amount of tons, dozens of tons of this product because these popular people are promoting it and people are eating it up. Imagine some hemp J's. Imagine if Jordan said, okay, I'm going to go work with some black farmers in North Carolina. I'm going to give back to my hometown. And I'm gonna come out with a whole line for 2024. All the J's gonna be made out of hemp, just stylish. Because I know people pay $500 for them, right? People pay $1,000 for them. So some of that farm money is gonna go back to the black farmers in North Carolina. Do you know that literally the amount of hemp that it would take to make as many shoes as people buy Jordans, hometown hero? That would literally make it rain on 60 to 80% of the black farmers in North Carolina without growing anything else, because you got to think of how much hemp fiber you need to make the amount of material needed for Jordans during the course of 1 year. 1 year.
There's opportunities, y'all. There's a bag in ag. There's a big bag in ag. Get the word out. Get the word out. There's a big bag in ag because we all got to eat. We all need food, clothing, and shelter. All three of those are agricultural products: food, clothing, and shelter. We have to grow that. And the more we get back into the mastery of growing, the more power we have as a people and as individuals in controlling our own destiny. Because we control our own food, our own shelter, our own clothing. That's power. That's power. When you can provide it for yourself, and it's even more power when you can provide it for others. So Rick Ross offers CNN actor Don Lemon a job at Wingstop after getting fired. Yeah, it was a joke. It was kind of funny. Ha, ha, ha. But it's real talk. There's a lot of opportunities in agriculture, and we all need to take a look at it. So, Farmer Brian, you have any last words?
Family, this is the best time. We have the best excuse with all of these changes going on to get black to the garden. This isn't a joke that we're talking about. Personally, I think he was being serious. It's like the unsure dude talking to the chick, like, I really want to get you, but you might turn me down, so I'm going to joke. Yeah, I'm going to come through and da-da-da. Just saying. I'm going to put it out there. And so I'm curious to see how Don Lemon will take it. He's a businessman. And there's so many other businesses that could thrive just off of these two individuals connecting otherwise unconnected dots on this grid, on this matrix. Multiply that dynamic times all the brothers and sisters around North America, around the world that have to eat.
Now here at B1AG, hey, we want to be a conduit of information. We want y'all to hopefully y'all conversate and exchange information in the comment sections, connect. If those people that are growing, connect with other people that are growing, to where y'all could even set up barter systems and really let's get these food hubs and this exchange of produce going. If you need information or want information or anything about the podcast, hit us up at B1AgHipHop@gmail.com. B1AgHipHop@gmail.com. We're very responsive. And hey man, we're just trying to grow this platform, spread this great information, share these solutions. There are so many solutions to a lot of our problems right in agriculture. Right in agriculture. We don't have to look any further than the dirt to find a lot of solutions to a lot of our problems. Now, at the end of the day, if you really really want to know something, what do the people need to do, Farmer Brown?
If you really want to know something, let's turn these lemons into lemonade. Get some profit and learn how to grow something.
I'd like to thank y'all for pulling up to the cafe. I hope you enjoyed your meal. As always, thank you. Let's keep it going. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's make this a bigger, broader conversation. And let's get black to the garden. Until next time, I'm John Henry Harris, and I'm Farmer Brown MC. Peace.